And now, from the great state of Mississauga in Ontario, Canada, it's the Ted Wallachin Podcast. Brought to you by Tom's Place. For the finest in men's fashion, Tom's Place will suit you. And ETP Canada, providing estate administration with ease. ETP Canada. And now, here's Ted.
Thank you so much, Becky, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Ted Wallachin Podcast. Thank you for being here. I think you'll enjoy this week's show. Certainly a name that you will recognize. Formerly a teacher. Also, he's now a comedian. He's an actor. He's a producer. He is Gerry Dee. And boy, if you miss seeing him, your television must be shut off, because you can see him on television pretty much every day in reruns for his hit television show, Mr. D, and also current editions of the Canadian version of the game show, Family Feud. And come Super Bowl Sunday, you'll be able to see him during the game, featured in a series of commercials for Doritos. And I had the opportunity to chat with him. You're on every morning almost. I had your buddy Jonathan Torrance on a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, he's talented.
Yeah. He's super talented. What a nice man, too.
Yeah.
Actually, just about everybody you meet in entertainment in Canada are nice people, you know? You get the occasional.
I think you're probably pretty good high percentage of that.
Yeah. Now, have you seen the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas? The way it's done up.
No, that I've not seen how it's done up.
The Luxor Hotel is pyramid shape.
I knew that.
So on one side of it, it looks like a Dorito chip, and it says Doritos right on it. They took it and they wrapped one side of it as a Doritos chip.
Wow. That is
How cool is that?
Cool. Very cool. Good job, Doritos.
No, this thing. I want to ask you a couple of questions about the campaign. First of all, you're not alone in this commercial.
I'm not. Amrit Kaur is also in it. She's very funny, and no, there's two of us in it. Yeah.
People would know her from the Sex Lives of College Girls.
College Girls, yeah.
Yeah. And so, how did the campaign come about?
I think in their research, the very creative idea, they found that 8 in 10 people want the whole experience, and that experience includes the ads from the U.S. We don't get them. And I thought it was a brilliant idea to. It's kind of the elephant in the room, like in when you watch the game. I've heard it for years. Like, how come we don't get those ads and stuff?
I know.
We have great ads in Canada too, but obviously there's more in the U.S. and I'm sure their budgets are bigger and the celebrities are bigger. And it's not a knock on us. It's just the reality that, we don't get to see them. So this is their sort of little humorous attempt at acknowledging that.
Well, they say that people watch the Super Bowl for 3 reasons: for the game, for the commercials, and for the halftime show, and not necessarily in that order. And now Taylor Swift.
Exactly true. Yes.
Yeah.
No, and that's exactly what it is. And everybody wants, that's the complete experience, right? And now we have this ad which plays on that theme of missing out on the U.S. ads.
Mm-hmm. So you're in fact addressing the elephant in the room.
Addressing it, yes.
Mocking it.
And trying our best to explain what the ads are, because you're not seeing them. Which
now,
is
talk to me about the
possible to do.
Can you give me an idea? I say kind of don't give me an idea. I'd rather people just see it.
Yeah.
I don't want you to spoil it. That'd be like me asking you give me the punchline and I'll wait for the joke on Sunday. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But talk to me about the product, though. A specific product.
The Doritos product.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the launch of their sweet and tangy barbecue chip, which was sort of a special edition chip they did, and it did so well they've now brought it back full time. I got to eat a lot of them on the day, and I eat a lot of them anyway. We are a sweet chili heat family here and have been since we can remember. So Doritos is always in our house. I probably have some in the house right now. I don't even know. I bet you I walk over to the chip cupboard and there's Doritos. But yeah, so this is a new chip they're bringing back full time, and it's great.
Yeah. Are you a naked Dorito chip eater? By that I don't mean whether you're clothed. I mean, do you put anything else on top of it? Do you
I
dip with it?
no. If I get their plain ones, I will. Yeah, I'll add their salsa to it as well and
Yeah.
do that. But no, for the most part, I mean, the sweet and chili heat, the sweet chili heat are the ones we would go to. The nacho cheese. There's some jalapeno stuff we love. They have.
Yeah.
I love chips, and
Yeah. So
I
do
think a
I.
lot of people love chips. So
Listen, but I've been known to make a sandwich out of chips. Like I'll take a little piece of salami in there or something, or maybe some cheese and whatever, then throw a Dorito on top, another Dorito on the bottom, and all of a sudden it's a sandwich. It's chip
you
sandwich.
might have just started. I'm sure that's out there. I think I've heard of this Dorito chip on some other items. I haven't gone
Yeah.
down that road yet.
Now, when you were a kid, did you play football?
I played
I
at
know you played
recess.
hockey.
Yep, I played recess football. And it was crazy because in our generation, you just played tackle football at recess, and it was kind of dangerous on a very hard field. When I got to university, I really enjoyed flag football. We had an intramural team, and I know that's actually going in the Olympics, flag football, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, we played full tackle football in grade school. Thank God we didn't do it in high school. I was very small, so I never would have made the football team in high school or tried. And
Yeah.
but in the preschool, in the grade school, yes. In intramurals, university, flag football. And I used to work at a restaurant, and we'd have a big football tournament every year. So
Now, do you have a favorite NFL team that you follow?
I mean, I think the proximity of the Bills is a good
Yeah.
team, but I mean, I get enough heartbreak with the Leafs that it feels like the Bills have just taken that, responsibility from my NFL sort of, but not quite the same as, I'm not a diehard fan of any team. I love the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl
Yeah.
and the Masters are my two favorite events of the year.
Same for me.
If the Leafs could make the Stanley Cup, that would be a third. The Jays in the World Series, the Raptors. But on a regular basis, the Super Bowl is my favorite event.
Now, when you sit around and watch a football game, do you prefer to sit around with a small group of friends or a larger gathering?
I gotta think small. When it gets too large, I want to watch the game. Um, and I guess if there's too many people and you don't know them, it can be rude. I guess I don't know. I either want everyone I know very well that I'm like, "Hey, I'm there to watch the game.
Yeah.
I'm not there to do the social and the game's background music. So I would say I'd probably prefer smaller because I want to listen to the game. I don't just want to, I want to watch, listen. I want to hear
Yeah.
what's said. I want to watch and hear the commercials.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say I'm maybe even alone, not even small
And
crowd. I might
I've
just
done
watch
that
it
too.
alone. Yeah.
Hey, well, the way I look at it is they're paying Tony Romo $17 million because the guy knows something about the game more than my neighbor Ernie, who's sitting beside me, telling me
Yes.
why this play is unfolding next.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, one friend or two friends, but small for sure.
Yeah, and are you an excitable fan, like when you watch, or are you sort of more sit? Because some people, like, their demeanor doesn't change throughout the whole game, which
No,
blows me away.
I would, no, I would get excited, but not, not over the top. I mean,
You
but
know,
I would get
so
excited. Yeah, I would. I mean, if I just love a good game, I like a high scoring game.
yeah,
I like a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, I would get excited, like more just internally, like, wow, oh my God, what a play. Like not running around my house.
some guys go, they lose it. I mean,
I think if you're, yeah,
I saw a guy walk out of my house once because his team was losing. He couldn't take it anymore,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
thought he
if
was
you're a
just going to leave and
diehard,
go and come back, but he didn't come
yeah,
back.
that's funny. If it's your team and you've waited, like I would have waited for the Leafs, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Just disappointing, but I'm not even the Leafs. I'm not gonna cry and walk out, you know.
So, what are your plans for Super Bowl?
Well, this year I have a volleyball tournament with my daughter, and I'm going to get home and probably either I'll check with a couple buddies, but right now it looks like I'm just going to watch it myself. Um, my kids aren't interested in it. Actually, they'll come down for the commercials and the halftime show, but mostly the halftime show at that point because commercials, they don't know when they're coming. But I could end up going to a buddy's house and watching it with him. So something small, though.
Now, is there a team that you would be cheering for? Kansas City, San Francisco. They're not. Neither of them are your teams per se,
No.
but it's.
I really think it's a great matchup. I'd be lying if I said I'm cheering for one over the other. I know my daughters are cheering for Kansas City. Like that's what Taylor Swift did to football, which is
which is a good thing.
Yeah, but my son doesn't tune into it. He's 11, so no, I wouldn't say I'm cheering for anyone. I'm just cheering for a good game.
You know what I find amazing is there's always these, I don't know if you've heard this or not, Gerry, but there are conspiracy theories going around that the NFL somehow fixed it so that Kansas City would be in it, so that Taylor Swift could be at the game to increase the eyeballs on the TV screen that day.
Yeah, there's conspiracies in a lot of things in the world, Ted.
But people don't believe that.
A lot of things would have to line up for that to... I don't give that any thought. I know right now San Fran's on an outdoor field and it was raining, and Kansas City got the indoor field, and there was a bit of conspiracy theorists thinking that was something. But I think I think you could say that about any final. I mean, there's always stars that they want them to win. I think it's just people upset when their team loses. They try to justify. It was a conspiracy. The refs wanted Kansas. It's always something with the refs. It's, it's kind of everybody's fault.
Yeah, I think Kansas City's onto something. I really do. I think that they're onto. It's just a dynasty.
I think Kansas City. I think Kansas City could win, but I really don't know. I think San Fran has so many weapons too. I don't think Brock Purdy's nearly as good as Mahomes. And I think at the end of the day, it comes down to a quarterback. So, but the running game, the defense of San Fran, it's going to be great. It's like literally, for me, I have no idea who's going to win. I wish I did.
Ted Woloshyn returns in a moment.
Hey, it's Ted Woloshyn for Tom's Place, where the month of February is all about hearts and family. Tom's late father, William, was born in February, and he founded the original store back in 1958, believing in the importance of caring for your customers. In honor of his father and the family business he created, Tom is celebrating with a Family Day sale. Another tradition at Tom's, of course, is great deals. So ask Tom for a special deal of $149 to $199 for suits that normally retail up to $599. Plus, Lipson and other great dress shirts on final clearance for $50. Or keep warm in a 3/4 length winter coat from the regular price of up to $9.98, now on sale for an incredible $3 1/4. And beautiful cashmere sweaters, regularly $250, now only $75. Available in men's and women's styles, and more specials in store. It's all about family at Tom's Place, and at Tom's Place, everyone is treated like part of the family. The Family Day sale all month long in Kensington Market. Have you been tasked with the role of a state executor, or expected maybe in the future you will be? Well, if so, let me make your life a lot simpler by introducing you to my friend Debbie Stanley. Debbie is the founder of ETP Canada. They specialize in estate administration. Their goal simply is to help Canadian executors understand their role and how to deal with the loved one's estate. Let's face it, there's no school for this, but ETP Canada offers services such as executor support, estate accounting, and they have a new online course called Executor Ready. It's an engaging video designed to make estate administration easier and affordable. And those are two comforting thoughts during a stressful time. So call Debbie Stanley at 1-866-309-0387. That's 1-866-309-0387. Or you can get her at info@etpcanada.ca. That's info@etpcanada.ca.
Now back to Ted Woloshyn.
Well, you look at how many points were scored between San Francisco and Detroit, and I think that surprised a lot of people.
Yeah. means their defense is permeable. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
and I
It's
think
it's it's exciting. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how people enjoy these ads we did. And I thought it was a really creative idea by Doritos and their creative team to, like I said, address the elephant in the room head
yeah.
on. Um, I'm excited. I mean, I'll probably be looking at my phone, reading the responses on social media as much as I will the game. It's just kind of what you do, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now, is it one commercial or there's several
There's a
commercials?
series, yeah. There's a teaser out right now on their YouTube channel. You can get a taste of what it is. I just posted a couple things on social media. The first we launched it today, so the campaign for it starts today, and we'll lead up and progress towards the Super Bowl where it will air. So it's pretty cool. But there's a series. There's a few commercials that we tried to reenact for everybody.
Yeah. And is there a chance that these commercials may continue post Super Bowl?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I would assume they would still want to run them, while it's still fresh in everyone's mind. Yeah, I would think so.
Hmm. No, I was fascinated. You mentioned at the outset of the interview we were chatting that the two games that you love watching are the Super Bowl and the Masters, and the same is true with me as well. The only difference in you and me is you're understand you're two handicap.
I'm a 4 index now, but it's not. It's still good.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
good, good.
yeah.
I don't even dream in those numbers.
Well, I grew up playing a lot of golf, but in my mind, I'm not very good because good to me is a +4, and I'm a
Yeah,
4.
yeah.
So
And while I got you here, you're starting your tour March 30th in St. Catharines, and you're going to be in
yeah,
Toronto, Massey Hall, May the 10th.
yeah.
Pretty
Pretty.
exciting.
Yeah. That's just an iconic. If someone told me when I was 15, 20, 30, 40, you're gonna do that theater one day where the greatest of the greats have done, and I I just wouldn't have thought that was a thing. So there's other dates on the tour, but the Massey Hall as a Toronto kid is a pretty prestigious thing for me. I've done it before, um, and it's always that wow, I can't believe I'm doing Massey Hall. Like I should look up who's done it because it's probably mind blowing the people that have performed there in
Yeah.
music and dance and comedy.
But this will be your first time back since the major renovations, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was there 8 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
And it's all new material. Everything's different, but it's still Massey, so pretty
Yeah,
cool.
Matt. Yeah. Now, does it get to you when you walk on like the night before if you're appearing in Sudbury and I'm not knocking Sudbury or any other place, but does it get to you knowing that next step is Massey Hall, or is it just the next step is another step?
What do you mean when I go from Sudbury? For
Yeah,
me,
when you
for
go.
me, like a venue in Sudbury with 2,000 people is no different than Massey Hall with 2,000 people.
Right.
I'd rather do Sudbury with 2,000 people than Toronto with 1,000. It's the volume is a really big part of it for you too. The vibe, the energy you get with more people. But sometimes the best crowds are in the smallest rooms because it's so tight. Um, I think for me, Massey has a special connection. Being from Toronto, it's one of the country's most iconic venues. So little different, but I don't treat Sudbury or Winnipeg or Calgary any
No.
differently than I do Massey. My show is, these fans are paying money. They're taking time out of their days. They have kids. They have parents. They have everything. So you try to do the best you can, regardless of the size or the city of the crowd.
And I think in some of the smaller towns that the crowds are a little less jaded, a little less too cool to die. You know.
No, I don't. I mean, I've been asked that before. I don't step on a stage and go, "Wow, I can tell them in Barrie. I can tell them in Calgary." You can't. I can't. I'd be lying if I said that the crowds are. I could do a show in Newfoundland, St. John's one night and kill, and I could do the same room with a different crowd the next night and not kill. And
Yeah.
there's no rhyme or reason. There's no part of the country that's better. Um, it's just sometimes it is what it is. Luckily, I'm at a stage now where people know who I am, so they know what they're coming to. That helps. If I just walk into a comedy club one night and there's people there, they're like, I don't like his humor, then that's different. But
Well, to draw a parallel back to football, then it's like saying there's no way that Green Bay was going to beat Dallas because Dallas was undefeated at home all season long. And how could a team like Green Bay come in and beat Dallas in the playoffs? And lo and behold, they came in and they kicked butt.
yeah, it's comedies have really, in my early career, it was harder to tell. I mean, it's very hard for me to bomb now. I don't, but like I said, if I walked into a room and forced myself on a crowd, that's not. I don't even know who he is, or I don't. It's different. But I have a crowd that's coming because of me. They know me. It's much easier than just when I started and no one knew me. But you still get about 10 minutes of that, and then they're like, "Okay, we came here, we like you, but you better be funny now." And doesn't matter who you are after about 10 minutes, they're like, you still got to bring it. So my job is to just bring it and make sure everyone leaves. Laughter's a
hardest
great
job,
thing, right? That's why this
hardest job.
commercial is great. I love it. It's funny, and that's what we want.
Yeah. Hardest job in the show business, they say, says stand-up comedy. As George
Yeah,
Carlin said, you walk on stage and you go, "This is it, dig me."
there's no question it's the hardest. Anybody that says it's not is not good at it or never tried it. You're alone. You're alone on a stage.
And
There's
nobody
no
fakes laughter.
There's no troop to bail you out. There's nobody else taking going down the collapse with you. There's no one, you're writing it yourself. You're the only person to blame. But when it goes well, you're
Yeah.
taking all the credit. It works both ways. But when it goes
I mean,
well, it's great.
even a bad band at the end of the song, people will applaud because they know the song is finished, and just out of politeness, they'll applaud. But if you've written a bad joke, people who don't necessarily know that the joke has come to an end, so they can't even fake laughter if they wanted to.
Well, the toughest difference there is when you do stand up, people don't want to see me a year later do the bits I did last time. When you see a
Yeah,
band, they just want to see your hits.
I
You don't
know.
want to sit through a brand new song. You're like, I can't sing along to this. So that's the opposite. So we are expected to write way faster than a musician or a band, in the sense that they're going to be asked for their greatest hits. People don't want our greatest hits. They're like, no, I've heard this. You don't want to hear a joke 5 times. I'll listen to the same song 500. So it's a little different, right?
Yeah, you're right.
They're both hard. Let's put it that way. But
If you have a hit in music, man, it can carry you for a career. If you have a hit in comedy, it can carry you for a show.
you can't make it on one comedy hit. If I had one bit in
No.
comedy if I had one great bit that was 4 minutes, it'll help. But they're like, yeah, he sucks. He has one bit. One hit wonders are a thing, and they can make a lot of money, and it may happen. But obviously, you want to be more than a one hit wonder in music too.
But nowadays, as opposed to back to the days of vaudeville, right, where you could take the same act and you could tour with it for 2-3 years before you came back to the same city. But now everybody, in addition to touring on multiple occasions in the same city in a shorter period of time, are all also releasing comedy albums, and they're also releasing specials, Netflix specials,
Yeah,
just for laughs. Records a number of things. And once people see that, there you go. You're
yeah.
exposed.
That's it. That's why you don't want people filming at your shows. You don't want people putting it up online. So there's some parallels to music, but it's very different.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing the commercial. All,
Thank
all
you.
of them, all of them, and,
All
and
of
so
them.
you're saying right now people can go and they can check it out on YouTube. There's a sampler on YouTube, and there's going to
Yeah,
be
there's a
more leading
sampler.
up to the game.
I think it's on the Doritos channel, but yeah, there's a sample of one of them or a part of one of them. They can get an idea, and my social media will tell you a little bit about more what we're doing. So to get some people excited, hopefully.
Great stuff. Continued success to you, Jerry. Thanks
Thank you
very much
so
for
much.
taking the time.
Thanks, Ted. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Nice to
Bye
meet
bye.
you. Real pleasure.
You too.
Take
Bye bye.
care. That'll do it for another edition of the Ted Wallishin podcast. Thanks very much for tuning in. Thanks to Paul Gatt. Thanks to Becky. Thank you all. And thank you for those of you who are leaving your comments behind on our website. It's www.tedwoloshin, WOLOSHYN And you can leave comments, questions, suggestions for future shows as well. And while you're online, don't forget to fill out your organ and tissue donation card. You could change or even save a life. In the meantime, have a great week.
The Ted Wallachin Podcast has been brought to you by Tom's Place. For the finest in men's clothing at unbeatable prices, it's Tom's Place at 190 Baldwin in the heart of Kensington Market. Tom's Place will suit you. And ETP Canada, providing estate administration with ease. The Ted Wallachin Podcast is produced by me, Becky Coles. Technical production by Paul Gatt. Music by Bike Thieves. For more information on this podcast and our sponsors, and to talk to Ted, go to www.tedwallachin.ca.